Okay.
Hey everybody, you're listening to The Ox and the Rat, the show where we put old tales to the test of modern times. I'm here with my friend the Rat. How you doing over there?
Squeak, squeak.
How's things?
It's fine.
Awesome.
Good. Yeah. Friday night.
Friday night. Friday night in that corner of the world. Friday morning for me. What are your plans? Big ones?
Plans? Nothing. I'm gonna, I don't know, maybe make a smoothie, but probably not.
Casserole?
No, I had a little McDonald's.
Oh, it really is
Great
Friday
meal.
night.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Party.
Well, we've got a good one today. We're going to listen to The Wild Boar and the Fox. You ready for this?
All right. Let's hear it.
All right. So, The Wild Boar and the Fox. A wild boar was sharpening his tusks busily against the stump of a tree when a fox happened by. Now, the fox was always looking for a chance to make fun of his neighbors, so he made a great show of looking anxiously about, as if in fear of some hidden enemy. But the boar kept right on with his work. "Why are you doing that?" asked the fox at last with a grin. "There isn't any danger that I can see." "True enough," replied the boar, "but when danger does come, there will not be time for such work as this. My weapons will have to be ready for use then, or I shall suffer for it." Do you want to guess the moral of this tale?
Be prepared.
Be prepared. Yes. Almost as though
What is that?
you had read it already. Is that true?
I had not.
Oh, wow. Very good. Very good, then. Very good. Yeah,
I wanted to keep an open slate for my guesses.
right. Well, yeah, you were prepared for this moral, and the moral is preparedness for war is the best guarantee of peace. I'm a big fan of this one. How about you?
A bit more specific than I thought. But it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, right off the bat, what's your assumption here before we even discuss it? Or not assumption. Or what do you think about this? You agree with it?
Okay, can you say it one more time? Be
prepared. Preparedness for war is the best guarantee of peace.
Okay, so that's kind of U.S.'s strategy for everything, it seems.
Yeah, as far as war goes. Yep.
It makes sense. Yeah, I guess I agree. If you're not prepared, then you can easily be taken over.
Yeah. Well, I'll move forward with this because I have some strong thoughts about this. I very much agree. Just bringing it into beyond the war side of it, more like to the personal aspect. You know, it's so true that you should be prepared, and I feel like a lot of people, when it comes to health and nutrition or whatever, and I've been here, maybe you have too. We're always reacting to things, and for me, this is about being proactive or reactive, right? Like take COVID for example, right? Like now everybody's like, oh, maybe I should think about my health. Maybe I should go to a gym or something, because as we're learning, like, okay, you can get your vaccine, but it's not going to work if you're not healthy. That's one of the most interesting findings that's coming out of these trials. So, now it's people are scrambling, right? Whereas the best vaccine, it's not a vaccine, but the best reaction was to just be healthy to begin with, to live a healthy life, rather than now be scrambling for some kind of a quick fix cure. So that's something that I really am, well, I guess frustrated about how people are reacting, but it's the way I've been trying to live for a while since my own health scare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess it's the same with anything for life opportunities or whatever. In my personal experience, um, not related to the health one, but I was in a field previously where I had a little bit of experience, but I kind of prepared in my own time, and then when that opportunity arose, then I was able to get that position because I'd already somewhat prepared, and I was confident enough that had the abilities to do it.
Mm.
What that position is, it's kind of vague, but anyway, I'll just leave it at that.
Hell yeah. I mean, one of the things that I've been learning about, going back, well, building off of what you just talked about with career. I mean, you can't just, things don't just come to you. Sometimes, I mean, very rarely these opportunities arise. But like, if you're not ready to take advantage of them, they're just going to pass you by, right? So like, I'm learning that I need to be extremely proactive about my career. Like, yeah, I love how you bring that up because I wouldn't have even thought about that. But now it's like, okay, well, starting a whole new career like I'm doing, it's not enough that I have this background in, let's say, education, but I need all of these other skills now, right? So I need to prove or develop skills in writing. I need to become a better writer. I need to become I need to have some elements of graphic design. I need to understand, how a script looks on screen, like from start to end. Even if I'm at the back end of doing something like instructional design, you need to project that forward, and you need to have all of these different elements. It's not cheap getting that training, but having been proactive about it, when I knew I wanted to change careers, I at least had a foundation on paper, and some of the skills mentally. I was ready to take advantage of the one opportunity that came along, and I'm super happy to have had that. But it would never have happened if I hadn't taken those initial steps to prepare myself. Whether that's education or whether that's free online learning or just reading or podcasts or whatever. Yeah, good point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think my last two jobs, maybe, two. One, I was kind of on the fence of whether I wanted to be there, and then all of a sudden they hired somebody to replace me. So I was like, okay, I got to find a new job right away. And luckily, I'd already been building a website, portfolio of my work and everything. I was able to pass that on to a new job very quickly, and that was one of the reasons why I got the job, because he thought my website was pretty neat, and he's impressed by that. And then the second one I had, I got let go from that job where they liked my website, and so I had to quickly scramble and find a new job again. And I had all these things, like I had books published and things like that, where I could bring them. I did those years ago, could bring them to the interview. And then again, I had multiple interviews with the same materials, and everybody was impressed and saying, wow, great. And if I didn't have all that stuff prepared beforehand, I probably would have been out of a job. Yeah, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's something I'm struggling with now, or not struggling with. I'm just, kicking the tires right now on building a portfolio. It's not as easy as I thought, and I don't know what's holding me back. So I should take these lessons a bit even more to heart, I guess. Just always sharpening those tusks. Yeah.
Yeah, just slow grind.
The slow grind a little bit every day, right? I think that's and I think that's something that everybody just misses the boat on. I've talked about this before, but when it comes to simple things like fitness, everybody's waiting for New Year's, right? We're always waiting for it's next week, or after this weekend, or next year, but it's literally today. I don't know I don't know what that mental switch is well enough. I'm not a psychologist. I understand why people put things off. I understand some of the psychology behind that, but everybody seems to be waiting for a reason to do something, even though the reason's already there. I for me it was, and I lived that way too. I put off health, and I put off nutrition, diet and stuff. I was able to, look around or avoid these hard truths until, I had that serious health scare. And I've talked to a few other people that I work with who have had the exact same experiences. I'm not just people I work with, but people I know. For some reason, when it comes to that kind of thing, so many of us need to have a crisis in order to make change. I'm sure you've seen that in your own life. I don't know. I'm not going to talk for you. But of course, for me, it was cancer. And you get cancer and you're like, or I knew there was something wrong before I was diagnosed. And it was like, okay, well, I may not know what this is, but I'm getting real scared now. And I got to do something. So here's a list of things that are in my circle of control. And those things were it really was an everyday approach to being healthy, which was, what do I eat? These are some things that I need to eat. Here's a diet that will work for me. What's a fitness plan? Okay, well, I've got this job that is 9 to 5 on paper, but, kind of bleeds into past, the standard working hours, which I'm sure you can, you can sympathize with. So what's the answer? Well, I'm going to get up at 5:30, and it was a simple set of routines and that became habits, that changed my life, and I'm super glad, because when it came down to doing the actual treatment, I just sailed right through it because I was prepared, man. Like I was prepared. I was like preparing for cancer for a year before I knew I had it, just because of the way things broke down, and the way things happened. And when they told me, I was like, okay, a little shock, and then this is nothing. Wake up the next day after being diagnosed and being like, let's kick the shit out of cancer. And nobody could believe, you haven't lost any of your hair. Like, no, it's actually kind of cool. I've got I got new colors in my hair, and it's kind of curly now, like the chemo curls. And, wow, you've done it in the shortest amount of time possible. And like, how did you bike to and from your chemo treatment? Like, doing radiation therapy while I never missed a day of work, But why? I was prepared. I just walked right through it. I sailed through it. So that's my story.
Sticking to it.
Hell yeah.
Did it maybe seem like less, probably not less severe, but a little bit better to battle, considering you pretty much had it like for 2 years or a year and a half and no real problems?
Yeah, well, there's a few things there, right? Like what it was, the type of
pain in your neck, but
the type of cancer, and I don't know if I've disclosed it yet, but might as well. It was the rarest form. It's like, of course, it's going to be something super weird. It was the rarest form of Hodgkin's lymphoma. It was such a crazy long acronym. NLD,
non-Hodgkin's.
Was it non-Hodgkin's? Yeah, it was lymphocyte predominant non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And anyways, it was lymphocyte predominant, one of the lymphomas. And, I just had that lump on my neck, so we knew that there was a problem before, and I was trying to get diagnosed, and it just wasn't working. Oh, man, what a nightmare. The whole diagnosis thing was the worst problem. It was the not knowing was the worst. But, to answer your question, yeah, it was so little. It was amazing. I had a little crisis for a day. Being told you have cancer is a weird experience. Like, that's something that happens on TV, right? That's a movie.
And then
it's a movie plot. It's not a.
And then your ears are like, you don't hear anything the doctor's saying.
Yeah. What was that like? Huh. I remember it was just so weird. It was so prolonged that it was kind of, I couldn't, looking back on it, it's hard to distinguish, like, there were tears and stuff, and there was this like, oh my God. But was any of that just like an expression of like, thank God I know what this is now? Like, it was kind of relief. Hard to distinguish between that, relief and shock. A little bit of both, probably. But yeah, I mean, like I said, and as you suggested, it was so little after finding out. It was just now how to proceed. I already had ideas about how to proceed because I knew it was probably, cancer. And, I was ready, so it was, keto diet, beating the crap out of my body through physical exercise, making sure I didn't have any glucose, and then that was it. Go to your treatments. That's it. Yeah, it was minimal because I was ready.
Yeah, I think you said people being like given some bad news about health or whatever. I read something that it was about 36 is when people change, because that's when they get their first scare, their health scare.
Oh, well, I was right on.
It was around that age.
Right on target, 34.
Got a little before.
And if I'm yeah, go ahead.
No.
Well, I was going to say, if I'm not mistaken, that means you're up for a crazy scare. Then, according to that.
Well, yeah, my scare was, although the jury's out, but high cholesterol. That was mine.
Oh, I love cholesterol.
Pretty tame.
Good cholesterol. Great stuff.
I had a lot of creatine as well.
That's good.
Which is weird. Yep, but they say it's bad. But you'd think it'd be good for building muscle or whatever. Yeah, well, or something.
I'm sure you and everybody else are tired of my tirades against doctors, but I will reiterate that that medical professionals are not necessarily the best source of advice when it comes to holistic understanding of how the body works. I think medical professions, just like so many professions, have become way too siloed, right? You get one professional will tell you one thing, somebody else will tell you a different thing. Nobody's looking at the whole picture. If you look at a number in a blood count, it doesn't mean anything. It could be a downstream indicator of something that's happening upstream. Always go upstream to find the source of the problem. And I think and cholesterol is fantastic. I eat like 8 eggs a day. It's not about you can't eat more cholesterol really than your body makes in a single day. It's a good thing. You need it. And creatine is fantastic. It's one of the most studied exogenous supplements as well. So it's really healthy to have it.
Yeah, so I had that, and then the only one that was a little weird was high. Is it lymphocytes or white blood cell? But it wasn't that high. It was just like a number or half number outside of the normal range.
Yeah, don't even worry about that. When I did my CBCs for all of those tests, they were all within the standard range, or slightly outside, even when I had cancer. So I wouldn't worry about it.
And the other thing was rhinitis.
What's that?
Inflamed nostrils, like in your nose.
Oh, well,
basically.
What a great opportunity to look into all the literature around nose breathing and how inflammation works on the subject of carbs.
I heard the guy, one of the authors on nose breathing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think it's because of, well, it could be, I think my sister has it as well, but it could be pollution.
Mm-hmm.
Could be a lot of things that cause it.
Well, circle of control,
So,
right? What can you do to be prepared for or to deal with it on a daily
wear
basis?
a mask all the time.
Yeah, that's true, I suppose. Breathe through your nose, do endurance exercise, blah, blah, blah. Lots of ways to be prepared. It's just about circle of control, right? Because there's so many things that lead people to be paralyzed. Too much information, TMI, is a big deal these days. So just focus on the things you can absolutely say. This 100%, this is important. I can do it. I can affect this. Just do that. Whatever that happens to be. Yeah.
Is there anything you're preparing? I guess you said you're preparing for maybe making a portfolio.
Yeah. For me, I've mentioned this on previous podcast, maybe the last one, I think, that I really want to get into graphic design. I'm really intrigued by it. I think I have a lot of ideas. I don't know if it's something I'm good at, but I've become increasingly certain that, yeah, there's like an upper level of achievement in some areas. Like I'm too small to dunk to dunk in basketball, right? But like I can definitely shoot and play better, right? Like, and I've taken.
You could do a sick layup.
Yeah, I could do sick layups, dog, and I can learn stuff. Like that's what's been really amazing. Like I don't really say no to a lot of things anymore. Because I've been learning all this new shit, right? And nothing's stopped me so far. But that's maybe a problem at some point. You've got to specialize to a certain degree. But yeah, I think I have a lot to learn from being involved in graphic design. And beyond that, I really, really think it's cool. I just think it's really cool. I don't really want to paint, but I want to be able to paint on like a digital canvas, I guess. And I want to see where that takes me. So
easier to undo.
Yeah, that's for sure. So that's kind of what I want to do. I just don't know how to get involved, and it's expensive. I'm looking at my options still, and I'm so busy with being a full-time student and working full-time hours at the same time to pick up another skill. But it's possible. It's possible. I'm making moves in that direction. How about you?
That was something I looked at too, like graphic design masters. But they're so expensive for who knows what value it actually has. Like, I'm not sure. Other than a piece of paper. I guess maybe making plans eventually if I move to a different place. So signing up for all those websites you need to sign up to see the certain jobs that are available and all that. That'll be pretty soon, and asking employers to write recommendations and all that stuff.
Preparing for...
I guess that's what I have to prepare.
Is this preparing for a career change or like preparing for finding or moving, laterally or horizontally? You're not changing careers, you're just changing jobs.
Yeah, and probably country. If a move is going to happen, then probably changing countries as well.
Big deal. That's a lot. Yeah.
There's a lot of what ifs or unknowns, I guess, for right now. So we'll see if it actually happens. But if not, and I signed up for all those things, well, I guess I could get a better job at a different place.
Wow. Well, that just brings something up to me that I should probably mention. Like at the point when I didn't know, I did all of those things, right? I went through that exact experience that you're talking about. So on the subject of being prepared, when I wasn't sure if I had cancer or not, I knew there was a problem. And this is, this summer before I had to make a decision, like, okay, well, my first test was inconclusive, but there was a suggestion there that this is what this is, right? So and then it was like, well, I can do another test or whatever, but I won't be back until, the end of this time, at this time. And I was like, well, I've got to leave. I've got to go back to my job. Before that happens, I can't, I've got a flight booked already. Like, am I going to get money back on that? Will I lose my job? Blah, blah, blah. So I had to hedge. I hedged hardcore. This is like the ultimate hedge betting, bet hedge. I don't know. In history, I think. Well, not in history, but for me, for sure. So I was like, okay, what are my options? I could stay and maybe find out that this is nothing, or it could be very serious, and sort things out now. But that might result in losing my job, right? And I have to pay for another flight, blah blah blah. Or I could go back and I could try with my existing health insurance to get the diagnosis over there. And if things don't work out, then I'll come back. Right? But so that's what I did. But while I was there, I started making plans about, like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen here. So let's plan on the eventuality that I do have to go back. So I had three plans in place, and I'm still living through it, actually, because one of my plans was, well, if I come back and I'm like laid up or whatever, what am I going to do? Like, I don't know if I can get a job if I leave, and I'll lose this job. So I was like, well, you know what? I'll do my Master's of Education. I've always wanted to do that. So while I was trying to get diagnosed, working full time, and figuring out what the heck was going on overseas where I was, I applied and got into my master's program, which I'm still dealing with now. And then when I did get diagnosed, and I was thinking about making a career change after finishing my radiation and everything, I had to then make plans to move out of that career and start a new one. So I made a decision that I was going to. This is a whole new set of plans to double down on education and go through certifications while I was doing my MEd part-time and working full-time. And I completed that by the time I had, my 30 days notice of quitting my job. So, like, it's just been this constant preparation for God knows what, and trying to make the ideal life, but it's exhausting. But
so right now you're sharpening your tusks, basically.
Hardcore every day, yeah.
Now, is there anything that you or I have missed because we weren't prepared? Could even be a small thing, like a flight.
Yeah. You want to talk about that?
Well, I just said that. I wasn't saying that specific one, but there is one, I guess. Was that the name misspell? Is that the flight? Or did we miss a flight because we were late or something?
I don't think both of us missed a flight. All of these bad events, they seem to only happen to you. I seem to get away scot-free. I don't think that I missed one. Did we miss one? Did we both miss one? Or?
I think that was the only one. No, I think that was the only one.
Yeah, that was that. But that was you. I don't trust me to book your flight, I guess is the moral. That's a whole other Aesop fable.
And if you're my girlfriend, she would say you should have looked at it anyway. So
oh yeah,
it would rest on me to it would be my fault in that case. So, which fair enough. Definitely partly or half.
A little bit of both, yeah. We can both take some fault in that. Yeah.
But yeah, prepare. You check your name spelling. Make sure it's spelled right.
Yeah, very important in flights, apparently. They even... well, what was it? It was like it was lowercase or something?
I think just one letter was missing, and I have, every single name correct except one letter is missing. And they're like, no, you can't. And then it was too late. It was like within 12 hours or something, so you couldn't change it. If it was before 12 hours, you could have changed it, which magic. why that matters,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Really, really stupid. Really, really freaking stupid. Because I know that that's happened to me before in a different country, and it didn't matter. Like, they were like, oh, you should have, but don't worry. Anyways. People.
Yeah. I don't think for lack of preparedness, I don't think I've like missed a job necessarily, or like nothing major.
Yeah, I've
You?
spent my entire life being extremely unprepared for things until very recently, but I don't think I've missed anything major.
It usually works out almost. Like being unprepared sometimes is good because then you're more flexible.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
I think that's an interesting one. Like when it comes to like different approaches to vacation planning, there's a balance there. We've definitely been underprepared in certain cases, but in other cases, that lack of preparation has led to some really really fun adventures. So I don't know. That's an argument that goes either way. I think there's definitely such a thing as over planning when it comes to vacations. Like, good God, some people like just relax. I mean, if it's too, leave some room. All you really need is a starting point and an end point, and maybe a few points in between. I think some people look at it as there's a schedule to be filled, whereas I just kind of look at it as, there's what's the minimal effective dose here for planning. Like, there are 4 things that I want to do. I will do those 4 things, and I will leave the rest of it out for the randomness and adventure that I enjoy.
I feel like if you prepare so much for, especially for a trip, like by the time you take the trip, you've seen everything on the internet, you've seen all the pictures, and then you get there, you're like, oh, yeah, just like the picture I saw on Google.
Yeah.
Great.
Ever somebody who enjoys...
There's like nothing...
Yeah.
No surprise.
Yeah, for 2 people who enjoy photography, me and you, I mean, it's... Yeah, I think you're totally right on that. Sometimes you can just over expose yourself to something before even seeing it in person, and it's like, yeah, that's what it looked like.
And then if you miss something, you could just go to Google and be like, ah, oh, damn, that looked cool.
Yeah, a balance on that. Well, what do you say we wrap this up?
Let's wrap it up. I think we didn't have much to say on this one. It was pretty true, I think, for most cases.
Preparedness for war is the best guarantee of peace. I am thumbs up on this, clearly. I've been trying to do this myself, and for all of you out there, like, stop procrastinating and just make preparedness your mantra. Always ready for what comes. Yeah. What about you?
Little by little. That's all you need.
Yeah. Definitely be a boar. Don't be a fox.
Yeah. Unless you're a judge on a turtle and rabbit race.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I wonder how fast boars are. Somebody should write one, the tortoise, the hare, and the boar.
Sounds good. I'll do it.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Hope you took something away from that.
Sayonara.
Wiedersehen.
How do I stop?